Hi, good evening to all. Thank you very much for joining the session today. We, on behalf of AIMS HR is Abjetco and also AIMS Group of Companies, we welcome all of you to today's one of the useful webinar. It is about the job interview skills. Generally, the skills which are required for the jobs are highly essential. And we brought today two speakers from AIMS, and one is myself. I will present for around 45 minutes to 1 hour. After that, one of our co-trainer, Mrs. Farjana Bai, she's going to present the second part of the presentation today. It will be around approximately 1 hour, 45 minutes to 2 hours. So once again, I welcome all of you to today's session. Glad to see that more than 30 professionals today attending from various parts of the world. And I had seen quickly all the names of the attendees. Some of the candidates are very much familiar to me and in my previous experiences and also different parts of the world. Thank you so much once again. And all the people who are doing the Holy Ramadan time and of course for prayers, I believe this the time of your prayers might have been completed. So I welcome all of you to once again to the session and also Ramadan Kareem wishes to all the people who are doing the great prayers. So let's start the session. In this today, we brought how to present yourself in an interview and also how you can showcase your skills in an interview, how you can build your confidence in an interview, and also model interview questions and answers just for a few icebreaker questions, how to understand, how to face the interview. Job interviews are always tough nowadays. It's not so easy through online and as well as the physical interviews. So today's session, which can enlighten all of you in a different ways, and I don't want to make you to listen continuously the board sessions. Let's watch one of the comic video of the interview. How today in the industry HR to next to the technical, how they can interview in several aspects. Watch this small video for 2 minutes.
Well, Greg, your CV is certainly impressive, but I'm afraid you're not quite right for us.
Okay, fine. Thank you for considering me for the job.
And that's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. We need a cool-headed man like you on our team, Greg. That was a test, and you've passed. Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. So I've got the job.
No, of course not. I don't employ gullible fools. That was the test, Greg, and you failed. Goodbye.
Oh, all right then.
Greg, that's the nonchalant attitude we've been looking for. You passed the test.
Have I really?
No, that was the test. You questioned me. No one questions me. Now, if you wouldn't mind. Greg. You've passed the walking away test. Come on, sit down.
So, I've got the job?
Yes, you have.
Definitely?
Definitely. Oh, Greg, welcome to the company. Oh, sorry about all that test palaver. Can get a bit confusing, can't it?
Well, a bit, yes.
No, you're too easily confused. You failed the test. Oh, and I had such high hopes for you.
This is ridiculous.
Congratulations. This is ridiculous. You passed the test.
Oh, for God's sake. Keep your job.
Greg, this is the real final test. If you can hear me in your mind, then you will have passed. Really. Come back in, Greg. Come back in.
No! You failed the test!
All right. Thank you so much once again for all of you great patience. Hopefully this introductory video might have given you today in the job interviews are how tough they are and also how you have to be smart enough to crack the interviews, no doubt. So today in the attendees who are attending from the various parts of the world and you are truly professionals, we truly respect your aspirations to do something in your career from current level to the next level. In the industry today, nobody want to join just for the jobs of what you are doing. Example, today you're working as senior quantity surveyor. And if you would like to apply for some jobs in the industry, you always look for the higher positions than where you work, because that's the human nature. Everybody wants to grow in their career. Grow is such a model where the goal versus reality, reality versus obstacles, obstacles towards the way forward. That's what the goal stands for in the industry, how we want to set it out. So in this industry, especially from the construction industry, especially my network who are attending today this session, definitely it is one of the challenge, how you need to set your preparation and also how you can crack your interview properly. So I believe some of the professionals from non-construction industry are also attending today. And I would like to address this one in these 4 elements. Let's see here today how to present yourself in an interview. Majority of us, we explore to know about the technicalities, also in the industry, in the various professions. Apart from that, we prepare our CV and we submit as per the requirements of the employers. But how you are preparing for yourself and how do you showcase your skills in an interview? Majority of us, we have an ambition to crack the interview in the first time, or sometimes we want to nail the interview to get definitely the job what we are aspired. But in the similar manner, how do you build the confidence? Because self-confidence is very important. Majority of us, we know the confidence is already built in us. It is called self-confidence. But from self-confidence, when you have, how you are demonstrating to the interview panel. Does they feel that is a self-confidence or overconfidence, or sometime or you are submissive as well? So that's why from HR, technical, and also the different aspect of the interviewing panel. Example, if you see in this picture, we don't know who is the technical in this. You're attending the interview. Maybe one person from management, another person from technical construction projects, maybe a project manager or project director. Maybe one person, maybe from HR. Maybe the third person, maybe one of the employer representative to see that whether this employment when they are doing, whether this candidate is fit for this job or. In the interview, they will ask you several questions in terms of to check your various aspects of your abilities, in terms of your educational background, and your experience in the various geographical locations, and also your skill set. The skill set which can be defined as hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are related to your aptitude towards your technical abilities. Example like contracts for a contracts manager, or construction technologies for a construction manager. And apart from that, if you want to talk about a planning abilities of Primavera and etc. for a planning manager. So these are basically in relation to the technical abilities. So called that can be called as aptitude skills. And apart from that, in this today's world, second is called soft skills. So once you reach to the managerial level, or once you want to go to the managerial jobs, your soft skills plays major important role than the hard skills. Though they look like soft, but they're really not soft. As per my experience of working in the industry as a practitioner in India, Malaysia, and also in Dubai and Middle East countries, I interacted with more than 35 nationality professionals from various backgrounds in terms of construction and QS and project management professionals. From that experience today, I would like to share some of the tips, and also we can have few more interactions as well. So job interview is always one of the important area where it will set, especially in the Middle East, for 2 years or 3 years visa for you. So whatever you learned in your educational background, whether you are a civil engineer or a mechanical, electrical, or maybe any profession related to built environment, whether from graduate or postgraduate or master's or doctorate, whatever we study, education always is common sense. Experience what you gain, that is called reality. Between experience and also education, there is one of the finest area, it is called common sense. Common sense doesn't have any degrees because it's very common. We should have sense to understand. That's why it is called common sense. If you are preparing for a job interview, whether you work with a contracting firm or a consultant, or it can be one of the client, or it can be a subcontractor, definitely you have job today in the industry that demonstrates that you are really a professional. Without having today the capability and the competence, no company want to keep just a person just for the sake of number of years of experience or just for the knowledge or just for certificates. So I'm congratulating all of you today. You have job and you're working, and maybe some circumstances are making you to find another job. Whether you are a job search or you're a fresher, maybe. In all these incidents, as today, one of the fresher will become tomorrow a director after a couple of years, not tomorrow itself. That's why in the industry, what we required is your attitude and your aptitude. And apart from that, your patience and your persistence efforts, and also your competence and your calmness. These two principles, if you apply in the industry and when you apply for a job, definitely you can demonstrate your knowledge, what you have, and you will prepare the interview point of view. Easily you can crack the interview with a good preparation. And majority of us, we think, is that our CV, what we submitted, that definitely demonstrating, explaining, and selling and showcasing your capabilities and also your experience. No doubt about that. As you are busy, you could not able to check your CV thoroughly and not updated well, and also in relation to explaining about what skills that you have. Maybe other gentlemen similar to you in the senior position, he also don't have time to study your CV. But he know that you are working, for example, as earlier as a senior QS. Now you applied for a job of a contracts manager, for example. They saw your CV, but you don't have management experience earlier. But though you applied for a contracts manager because the number of years of experience what you have, and also industry experience what you have done, and apart from the designations across the world, they may not have the same type of responsibility, accountability of the job what you do. As an example, in one of the contracting firms, senior QS, maybe handling 10 projects, and under his leadership, maybe more than 30 quantity surveyors are working, including instant quantity surveyors. When you are a contracts manager with another company, you don't have even the knowledge of that senior QS level person, but you are managing two people, that company given a designation as a contracts manager. And sometimes you may confuse what do you manage as well. That's why in the industry, what we study and what we apply and what we aspire. Yeah. That's why I would like to make one small survey before I start the session. In the chat box, please type what type of jobs currently you really aspired. I mean, your current designation and also what type of future jobs that you are looking. I don't want to know about names and etc. Just tell, for example, you are a senior quantity surveyor. You are aspired in the future to become a contracts manager, or maybe you're a senior quantity surveyor and still you are looking for a senior quantity surveyor in a different company. I would like to see the aspirations of the candidates. For 2 minutes, I'll wait for you. Please type what type of jobs currently that you are aspired in the future. Can I have some few interactions through your charts, please? I believe everybody can type. Excellent. There's a one working as a senior estimation engineer. You want to, in the future, want to see him as commercial manager. A gentleman directly he typed as, I think one person, I'm looking for a procurement engineer job. And another person simply typed consulting without telling what type of job he is currently in the future looking for. Other person contract administration. I don't know his current profile. Another person's typed as a senior QS and he would like to become a contracts engineer or a contracts manager. Excellent. Current job contracts manager in the future to become a senior contracts manager and also future as a director. Excellent. Another person senior quantity surveyor contracts. One person typed QS to the senior quantity surveyor. Excellent. I think another person from quantity surveyor to the design coordinator. Excellent. This is what today in the industry, even while I was working in the industry as a practitioner, when I tried to become a manager initially, they always look and ask me, still you are working as a senior quantity surveyor. You don't have experience as a contracts manager. How do we give the contracts manager job? That's fair from my side because all the businesses today in the industry, when they are working, no one want to do a risk by hiring an inexperienced person in the different role. So the last point which I read from one gentleman is from QS to commercial manager. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really love to see all of your interactions and excellent and keep our aspirations for a while. I will interact after a couple of slides. At the time, I can share my views. And today in the industry, when you want to present yourself in the interview, partly interviews are happening through either online. For example, a job interview required a commercial manager in the Saudi projects. You are in Dubai. At that time, definitely they want to do through the online interview first. Then later, they will call you for physical interview, maybe second round. And then later they will recruit you through the process what is required. That's why your CV, what you submitted, is clearly explaining about what you are. That is demonstrating your effective writing skills and also in terms of the accuracy and the precision what you submitted. That absolutely is fine. That's why they call you for interview. Here you can see here, don't let anyone to define you. You define yourself. That's very important statement. And during the recent one of my interactions with one candidate, Ramesh, I've given all my details in the CV. Why they're asking about me? They don't have patience to read. Don't know the while reading my CV. Again, why they're asking, can you introduce yourself? Basically, when you are going for a job interview, first of all, you should know about you. And are you really in a peace of mind to attend the interview? And how is your state of mind? It's very, very important before you knock the door of a physical interview or before you getting into the webcam for any online. That's why one question you need to pose to yourself. Do you know about you? It looks like very funny question. Really very funny. Because if I ask this question, the other gentleman say, yes, Ramesh, I know about you. What you doubt about? Then in that case, have you reviewed? You know about you, but do you know how to introduce yourself to other person? For that, have you prepared? And any interviews, the first impression is the best impression. And you cannot create first impression second time in your life at all. Yeah. Except during the married time, how you interviewed your wife or maybe your husband. That's the way we don't have experience of that type of interviews. But when you go for a professional job interviews, you should apply first to speak about, do you know what type of skills that you have? About hard skills, soft skills, technical skills, commercial, legal, financial aspects of industry. And you may be aware of it, but do you know how to speak in front of the professionals and in an experienced way? How you can demonstrate your experience. As an example, one QS today who is working in this particular industry, He want to apply for a commercial manager in a biggest company. No doubt. It's very good aspiration. Very good aspiration. But it is your aspiration. There's an aspirations always between employee and employer. Employee, that's you today. Employer is somebody else. They have some aspirations about their business. Commercial manager of that organization maybe resigned, or maybe company terminated the commercial manager. Then they're looking for an experienced commercial manager who has been in the industry for a couple of years at that position, managing that international projects and also in that particular geographical regions, and who can understand starting from inception, pre-contract, post-contract, and also the handovering stage of the projects. And apart from that, in the commercial competitiveness, how they can balance their profitability when they are submitting the tenders. And apart from that, how they can manage in the post-contract stage to provide the budget to bill to the contractor and to complete the project well within the particular profitability limits. Maybe in the currently you are working as a quantity surveyor, a senior quantity surveyor, working under commercial manager, but you never took that responsibility and accountability to demonstrate that experience to that level. But maybe 5 to 10%, though you are demonstrating, maybe your company is not promoting. In that case, you can showcase your experience with a good attitude. What do you mean by attitude here? Attitude is simple. It is called expectations. Expectations of the interviewer for a position of a commercial manager. Though you applied as a QS or a senior QS for that position, they called you for interview. So your expectations to get the job, though you don't have such experience, maybe in terms of designation or in terms of the accountability and responsibility of the job. The other interviewers also have some expectations. Let them test your knowledge and your skill and level of projects, what you work. Maybe you are a senior contracts manager, but managing only minor, very minor interior and small landscaping projects. But other gentlemen as a senior QS handled various mega projects with a high responsibility and accountability. So the interviewer will call both these people. But the upcoming project for this employer is a mega multi-million $1 billion of a mixed-use development for one of the prestigious client. Under such cases, senior contracts manager by designation may not be suitable for the job because it doesn't have an exposure of handling all the civil, structural, MEP, and also the various external interior fit out, plus all the hands-on experience in such projects. That's why here, your attitude is you have to sit in such a position in the interview. One of the best attitude is expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. So the traits and your behavior in terms of how you can crack that interview with your confidence. So these 4 points, when you sit in a position of an interview as an interview candidate, your skills, your experience, and demonstrating your attitude in the right behaviors and traits, which definitely can create a first impression in the beginning of your self-introduction. If you cannot give a proper self-introduction properly, as I said earlier, the required position and your current experience matches well, then whatever the way you introduce yourself, it doesn't matter. But as I seen that today in the chat box, you're working currently as an experienced quantity surveyor, looking for a commercial manager. Here, the expectations here not matching. At the time, have you prepared well? Have you prepared well to know about you and your capabilities and your strengths and also your achievements, how you can showcase properly. That's why majority of the engineers and also technocrats and plus experienced contracts, commercial and techno-commercial professionals, we always busy. We want to know about technical things, but sometimes you need to take a pause and put a question, do you know about you? So let's do one small interaction. And I would like to invite one of the gentlemen who's working as a senior quantity surveyor, want to become a contracts manager. If you have good webcam and also good audio and noise-free environment, can you please participate for a while? And this experience will help you how you can boost yourself, and is a good an opportunity of the live training. No need to scare, no need to feel, and it's a very friendly discussion. That's why today with one small interaction, one of a contracting firm professional want to become a client, or maybe in the future, one of the client organization professional want to become a contracting firm professional, a consultant. The job roles, expectations, and also expected responsibilities are different. If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it's a different issue. Also, you have to put another question. Do you love you? Do you like you? As an example, today when I'm interacting with one candidate, there's no smile on the face. It doesn't mean that he likes him or doesn't like him. He's not aware. That's why before you go for any job interview, please everyone, you should know about you. If it's an online interview, how you look like. Are you smiling? Are you listening? Are you demonstrating a minimum ethical standards? At least do you have a minimum courtesy to respect others? Before, how do you start your introduction? In the beginning, why can't you start by saying some greetings? Good evening, panel. My name is Ramesh Palkular. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to introduce myself. The way you smile is a symbol of confidence. And smile does not cost anything. These two nobody knows. If somebody tell you that I will train you for building the confidence in you, first of all, check the trainer whether does he has a smile or not. If he doesn't have smile, don't join that course. Why? Because he should be happy to train you. Similarly, once you join, if you say I have finished a course on confidence, that should give you such a level of self-confidence to believe you, strongly believe you, and strongly believe you to sell you in the industry as an engineer, as a quantity surveyor, or a program manager, or anything. That's why everyone try to look at what type of skills that you have, then how you want to showcase properly in the industry. At the same time, how you can win the hearts of the other persons with your self-introduction. Yeah, we'll discuss about these points a few minutes later. Watch one interview, one of the engineer, an electronics engineer, he's attending an interview for an international job. See his interactions with the interviewer.
Hi, so tell me about yourself.
Sir, I am sitting in front of yourself, myself Rakesh Mohanty, and I am technology mad. But if you will ask me what is my passion, I will say hardware. But this is for the first time I am doing on Spiky.
Skype, you mean?
Pardon, sir?
Go on.
Sir, I am from Jharsuguda. I studied 10th Saraswati Sishu Vidya Mandir, graduate Cambridge Institute, Ranchi, not from England, note it. And I am putting my screwdriver everywhere and seeing what is happening. I am a hidden scientist.
Okay, so what experience do you have?
Sir, I am working with BSNL telephone company. Whenever the line goes off, I ride the telephone khamba and make the line good. And during my spare time, I chat on girls on Facebook, and also I collect pan masala reports. I have a huge collection, almost 2000.
And how do you see yourself progress in this career?
Sir, I will have a fruity career in your steamy company, and I will perform and reach the climax position.
Okay, and can you shift to Oman? Will you have any problems shifting to Oman?
Sir, I do not have any problem to shifting abroad country, but I will not change my religion. Otherwise, I am very open-minded, and I am always happy, even when I am sad. And I am morally very good, morally very high. And I have also my resignation letter ready from DSN.
Okay, so then we'll get back to you.
Sir, I am getting the job now.
We'll get back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So here, if you observe in this interview, candidate CV, whether he typed or somebody else typed, is an engineer. But if you observe there, is he really understand who's doing the other interviewer? When a girl is interviewing, he's calling him as a sir, and he's not listening or not understanding the question clearly, and necessary and unnecessary words, whatever he used, it will not reflect the first impression at all. That's why the interviews, if you look at today, formal and informal interviews, sometimes they'll call you for the initial round as informal, then final round as a formal. And that can happen maybe 1-to-1 or sequential and panel interviews. It can be several rounds, group interviews by many people, situational interview that depends on how they want to test you in that particular situation, and sometimes over the phone call, video call. In the phone call itself, they can understand and assess your nature of how you understand the job requirements, especially through the webcams. When you attend the interviews, you also should learn certain important tips, because live interviews are very easy. Online interviews, you should be aware of your internet strength, your technical abilities of your laptop, and also cam, mic, everything should be in a proper manner. So if you go for a face-to-face interview, the number one is always dress for success, whatever the organization it may be, and arrive earlier on time as reasonable 30 minutes before, and also be as an active participant in the interview, because when they in the interview time, you should not be like interrogating by others. An interview is always like a conversational type, and when you are speaking, you have to observe how you are speaking. Okay. There is two elements in English. One is called fluency versus accuracy. Majority of the Asian professionals, when we study English as a second language, and no one instructed us to speak fast in the world, no constitution as well. But knowingly or unknowingly, when you learn English as one of the foreign languages, being is always a fashion language, in the beginning, in the previous offices, in the current experiences, we may have a false impression that if you speak fast English without any gaps, you may feel that that's called a professional way to speak, or maybe others may appreciate you. But in fact, the native speakers, they never speak fast, because there are certain pauses required without making and any. This type of slangs what we use is only because we have tendency to speak fast. I'm speaking with all of you almost 45 minutes. I'm not speaking fast. Have you observed it? The reason because I should maintain accuracy to give the right information to all of my clients today who are attending this webinar. That's my respect towards to all of you. but it feels for you that I am speaking continuously. That's called fluency. But fluency always to be maintained with certain amount of accuracy, precision, the meaningful words we should use. Otherwise, you might have seen that humorous video, right? The electronics engineer, how he's speaking. He's an engineer. He's really practically very good, knowledgeable engineer, but he's not expressing things clearly with his right communication. Apart from that, good control on body language. The body language is very important in the real interviews, also in the online interviews. So as an example today, if I don't sit like this properly in front of you, if I keep my body language, it may be comfortable to me like this. Guys, this interviews, this posture what I given, arrogance, not respect towards you, because it's not demonstrating my professional, I can say, gesture towards you. Similarly, the way you sit in front of cameras or in front of the people, the body language, it plays a greater role. Your verbal and non-verbal communications, what you demonstrate, for everything, you should well prepared. And also conversations when you do that. For example, you are working with one Indian-based company in Dubai. You got a job interview with one of the British cost consultant. Doesn't mean that you should change your accent or your your way of enunciation, pronunciation. No need to be like a British guy, because it never matches to your face. If you're an Asian, then speak at natural level. No need to speak like if you're going for a British company, you have to speak like a British guy, or maybe if you go to the another Scottish company, you have to go like a Scottish. No, just be as natural you are, but observe what type of terms that you are using, especially some of the few Indian professionals also from India. When they speak, they don't pronounce some of the words properly. Example, decision. The decision, when they say, that means it's rightly the correct pronunciation, or is it an incorrect pronunciation? So maybe you habituated to speak in similar manner. Even if you observe some people, especially few South Indians, when they speak, they use a lot of stress on the, especially when R comes. If you ask them to speak 500, they may say 500. I mean, the way we speak, it is at our natural, the way you born and brought up from your traits. That does not affect your interviews. Importantly, you have to see how to see and observe your communication patterns. That's why every professional communication always it comes from our childhood. It's come from our parents and from our friends and also teachers, lecturers, and the place where you born and brought up. But it has to be enhanced to the required level. There's a principle called be as a Roman in Rome. What's the meaning of that? Suppose while I was working in Malaysia, I have my beloved wife, very nice Chinese friends. They cannot speak R correctly, as the way, example, my friends speak in India. They call me as Lamesh, how are you, La? That's okay, fine. That's their natural conversation. But they're experts. They're talented. The core technical skills are very high. So the way we pronounce the words, the communication, what we do, this all reflects from our backgrounds. Suppose when you are listening to the other person, if you don't understand, for example, you're attending a job interview, the other gentleman interviewer is not following an effective communication skills. He's speaking very fast. But also he's not giving even a time to think. At that time, don't get worried. Because the interview is an opportunity for you. You should not miss that opportunity. At that time, you should apply common sense. You can ask them in a gentle way, not like rude way. Yeah, in interviews, sometimes candidates, they lose their emotional intelligence. They don't observe how they're asking for a repeat question. You can ask them in a gentle way. Dear panel, if you don't mind, I could not understand this question. Could you please repeat that? Or can I have the clarity on what did you ask me? Or are you looking for this particular scenario? The way you put that particular, repeat question should be with courtesy, respect, and also use the right appropriate communication words in English. If you are attending online interview, it should be in a proper manner, and it should also, you have to test your instrument, and also it should come early. As in the panel, you can see in this picture, there are 4 people together. They're attending interview from the corporate office from Saudi, and you are working in Doha. Really, you are talented, but do you have a sufficient internet speed? You must and should have minimum 30 Mbps speed to 50 Mbps speed required internet speed. How to check that? You can go to browser fast.com, F-A-S-T fast.com. If you type, it will show you what is your internet speed. You should get ready without conducive way to go to the lower band. You will not be connected. Your video cannot be displayed. So select the natural background always. Better to take the white wall, or sometimes some companies, they will use the corporate Zoom banners, etc. Importantly, your lighting. The lighting when you attend the interviews, maybe you find the one corner of the room in your house, maybe in the office, or maybe in pantry. Make sure light should come on your face, not from the backside. Then people cannot see your eyeball. And also make sure a minimum required professional attire is required. Should be well dressed in a formal way. And through this online interviews also, you should demonstrate your body language. Generally, whenever I see the candidates through the online, most of all, they look like they are coming for a photo shoot. Stiff. Even during the 15-20 minutes talk, they never even move also, as if like a, electric shock person. No, you should not do. You should have a free flow of speech. You should have one comfortable chair and a table, and make sure your hands should rest on the table. Comfortably, whenever you require, you should use your hand movements. And also your eyes. Your eye contact is always to the person to whom you are speaking. That too, when you are speaking to the webcams, mostly you have to look at you and also look at others, because maximum 16-inch screen. When we are speaking through the webcam interviews, mostly we look at others, we don't look at ourselves. Even today, some of the candidates they are just on their cams and they are checking their hairstyles, etc., without understanding the other people can watch them. And second thing, your eye contact is very important. The person when he is speaking, and if any distractions surrounding. Example, if you are attending interview from home and you have kids, they're making noise, or maybe you have neighbors making noise, that's always makes the distractions. Because you should listen the things carefully with active listening skills. Then that too in online interviews, since you are sitting comfortably at your home, your nervousness, what you have, easily you can pass on the table. Even though your hands are shivering, you can put on the table, nobody can see your hands for first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes of any interview, always nervous. But try and practice yourself once. That's why if anybody want to attend the online interviews, in the computer, there is a run option, type camera. In the camera, you can watch and see that how your facial expressions. Record your self-introduction once and see that. You are the best judge to assess the skills. Let's watch one quick small video to understand some few tips, how you have to go to the offices and attend the interview. It's a very interesting video.
Arguably the most crucial part of the job search, an interview can make or break an opportunity. So to help you really prepare, we're going to dissect and analyze an entire interview from start to finish. I'll be sprinkling in a mix of tips about body language, etiquette, and how to answer common questions. Like when exactly does the interview start? How do you deal with nerves? And how soon can you follow up? For years, athletes have used science and data analysis to improve. Now, we are doing the same for job seekers everywhere. This is Job Science. Meet Anya, a recent grad majoring in business administration. She's interviewing for an entry-level project management position. Note her posture. Head up, shoulders pulled back, no slouching, and no laid backness. The interview begins the minute you walk into the building. Anya treats everyone in the office with respect while keeping eye contact. From security personnel to receptionists, anyone you run into on your way in could be asked to give feedback on you. It's normal to be nervous. When nerves kick in, the natural human response is to take short breaths and breathe faster. Stay calm by taking a deep breath before entering. Hold it, count to 3, and then slowly breathe out. Pause. First, ace those introductions. Greet everyone in a way that is authentic to you, like, hey, nice to meet you, and then say their name. That one always works. You know, you're more likely to remember their name if you say it out loud when you first meet. A lot of the time, small talk comes up before any questions. It's good to have a few current events or topics in mind. You can't possibly predict what they're gonna ask, but you can practice answering the common ones, like, why do you wanna work here? What makes you unique? Let's see what our interviewer asks.
So I want to hear more. Tell me a little about your experience and what you'd bring to this role.
Pause. When this is asked, they're looking to learn what makes you stand out. Be honest with your answers. That means having to pause and think for a second. That is all right. Think about your past experiences and how the role lines up with your future goals. It never hurts to be honest.
Great question. Ever since I was young, I've always been the organized one in my family. Whether it was helping my parents schedule vacations or color coordinating my closet, naturally that lifestyle got me here, project management. I've been a people person for as long as I can remember. Plain and simple, I love team building and making sure everyone has a part. Just the other month.
Ooh, just really quick, don't speak negatively about previous places you've worked. Instead, talk about what you've learned.
I helped lead a team of 5 to deliver a 3-week sales project a few days ahead of schedule. I'd love to bring these things here.
Perfect. A response like this not only answers the question, but also shows off her personality. But remember, there's no one right way to interview and answer questions. Be yourself and let your personality shine. Be aware of your movements. Practice polite, confident body language. Subtly miming your interviewer's posture can actually create a sense of connection. Of all places, unnecessary movements are hard to ignore in an interview. Whether it's tapping your fingers or bouncing your leg, be aware and stay present.
Hey, it's been great chatting so far. I guess my last question is, do you have any questions for me?
Ooh, this is a hot one. Make sure to have a short list of questions for your employer in your back pocket. Ask the questions you would if you got the job. If tomorrow was your first day, what would you want to know from the manager? Even if you don't have any burning questions, asking a few shows that you did your homework and that you really care. Some include, what do you like best about working here? What are some mistakes people have made in this position? What is a goal you're currently working toward? How will my performance be evaluated?
Well, I did read that you're expanding your software team next quarter. I'm curious how you plan to carry that out.
The interview isn't actually over. Always follow up within 24 hours with a thank you email to the hiring manager. This can be a quick note simply thanking them for their time, or a longer one that elaborates on some of the things you talked about. It's key to leaving a lasting impression. This was the breakdown of an interview. Till next time.
Thank you so much for all of you to listen this video. Thus the tips how you require to understand when you attend practically the interviews. And second, the agenda of this particular session today, how to showcase your skills in an interview. As I explained, a small demonstration. When you send your CV, the CV is already being scanned by the application tracking system of a recruiting consultancy, or it can be by the client. Once they saw your core qualifications, your key skills, and your work experience, and also the summary profile what you given, that already showcases that what you are, what type of a professional that your academic qualifications, professional qualifications, plus key skill set. That's been scanned already. Now, what they look at basically in the CV, what you written, are you really showcasing that, presenting your skills, your experience, and your personality? These three are very important. That's why first you should research about the company. And in the interview, you should also make sure to highlight your achievements. As in the earlier video you watched that, though you are struggling in the current company, it looks like for us like it is a known devil and you are looking for an unknown angel. That's why wherever you work, current company, after a couple of months or couple of years, it looks like a known devil. And your friends got another job, or maybe you are looking for, when you see the fascinating and exciting opportunity, it looks like a unknown angel. But importantly, that could be reversed sometimes. Yeah. Your current company is a known angel. You may be entering into unknown devil. Who knows? That's why in the interview, if really you're struggling in a current company, then when you are attending other job interviews, don't blame the current company or company management. Bring out your experiences, achievements, what you did it, and emphasize your skill set. Especially in this room, if anybody freshers are attending, freshers' life is always fresh. They cannot refresh. They don't have experience. Maybe they have some couple of months experience in the internship. That could be jolly period. I can say honeymoon period in the jobs. So such people, in case if you are a fresher in this particular scenario, look at your aspiration and your skill set should be proportionate to be sell it out in a concrete way. Be confident and humble. This is very important in any job interviews. Universally, when I look at the various nationalities, I have regular interactions with more than 35 nationalities in the Middle East, including Asians, local Arabic, and also the few, I can say, Europeans as well. When you are confident and humble, that's sufficient first to showcase yourself as a professional. If you don't have a minimum courtesy while speaking, while looking, while talking, while addressing, that's the first failure to demonstrate your professional skills. Respect is the high level of ethical standard in all over the world. It is also free of cost. Respect means is not about to speak with sir or ma'am. No. Respect is how do you modulate your tone in such a way to speak with others in a reasonable tone. For example, you are attending an interview. The other gentleman, they asked you a question and you answered, but still you have a question. At that time, you can also ask the other gentleman, I have a question here. Instead of that, if you say, can I ask one question here? Or can I get some clarification on this? Or could you please elaborate a little bit more on that? That's where how you can formalize your regular habits, your traits, your behaviors in the interview. It may reflect. You can show the enthusiasm and passion, but don't be dramatic. Don't be over smart. Certain times the candidates, if they really want to switch over from contracting from to consultant, for example, or consultant to the client, at that time, you can say your passion, but both the companies where you work and where you want to work, both are professional companies. No need to undermine anybody. If you do that, it comes out of over smart. You can say, even though I'm doing a lot of hard work in the current company, nobody's taking care. I heard about your company. Sir, you are very great, sir. Your company, I heard that is a good company. Please take it. Nobody will take. You show your enthusiasm within as an active participant and also demonstrate your adaptability and flexibility in the interview itself. They may call you interview after 3 times canceling the appointments. 4th time you are attending the interview. Be flexible. Be adaptable to the situation. Even they called for you interview, they asked you to wait for 1 hour. In the reception, you were so, maybe you kept permission from the current job and you went to there with a lot of traffic and you are waiting in the lobby, but they're not calling you. But you took a permission only 2 hours. In that case, take another 1 hour permission somehow by convincing the current management. With this interview, try to handle it with patience. Drink a lot of water or maybe coffee and control your emotional intelligence. Even the interview, the way you appear, in the beginning itself with your frustrated face, why you called me early, why you did not attend the interview, why you are not conducting the interview. No, these are all a professional should digest, adjust, adopt, be flexible. And anything you are communicating, it should be in effective way. Either your experience, what you are speaking, or when you are explaining about a mechanism or anything, you should explain and communicate in a clear and concise manner. End of the day, you can showcase your personality. And one secret of the current interviews, which I want to tell you, in the world today, nobody wants to hire a wooden expression faces. Today, the industry for senior management positions and also important positions in the organizations where the highly paid, you must and should have a personality. Personality to develop, you don't require a charming personality. What you required is you start loving you. You start liking you. You have to respect your experience. You have to respect your qualification. And also the experience, what we learned earlier, it is always a functional experience. No need to regret at any time. And be prepared to discuss your resume, what you given. Sometime expand it. And once in the interview, after completion of the interview, if they ask you, do you have any questions? Then you prepare your questions, what you have. Is it a job, is a full-time job or part-time job? Or is a job is work from home or hybrid or direct to come to office? Weekly, how many days? What are the working hours? How about sick leaves? How about the maternity leaves if it's a women? Anything if you have, prepare a question list, but brief, not many. And in case if they did not given you any time and they wrap up the interview, even that case also, you can minimum, if it is a 1 hour interview for a senior professional, 45 minutes if they do the interview, minimum 15 minutes you have to spend, ask questions related to, that's where you are demonstrating your experience, and that helps to increase fair chances that your profile should stand out as a strong candidate. Yeah. So in the interviews, there are various tips which I shown. Further, I would like to play one more small video and watch it for a while.
Most interviews, no matter what the industry, are designed to assess a few key areas: professionalism, interest in the job being offered, fit for the job, including applicable skills, and personality. Here are some tips on the do's and don'ts of interviewing. Do be sure to dress appropriately for your interview. If you're a man, wear a suit. You can never go wrong with navy blue or charcoal gray, a white shirt, and a nice tie.
If you are a woman, do make sure you wear a suit to the interview. Either a skirt suit or a pantsuit is fine. Don't wear large jewelry, loud colors, or too much makeup. Don't give a limp handshake. Nice to meet you.
Do give a firm but not bone-crushing handshake. The key to a good handshake is to get the web between your thumb and forefinger fully in contact with that of the person with whom you're shaking hands. Also, don't forget to make eye contact and smile. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I was born in San Francisco and then my family moved to Boston. Well, actually the suburbs of Boston, about 20 minutes outside, but you know, you tell everyone Boston. And then I went to UPenn in Pennsylvania, and I started out as an art history major, and then I switched to economics. But then I wasn't so sure, so I switched back to art history, and then I had to complete more credits to do the major. It was kind of a pain. So now I'm here with the possibility that I might apply to law school next fall.
This isn't a license to tell your life story. Rather, use this as an opportunity to give a concise summary of your career, abilities, and goals.
I'm a very energetic and organized person, which is why I'm drawn to opportunities such as this one. I have over 4 years experience at the associate level, and I'd like to further my career path. And I'm also fluent in French, and I've studied and lived in Paris.
Great. Interviewers want to know how you assess your good points and your bad points. What would you say is your greatest weakness or area that you can improve upon?
I have a tendency to oversleep. In the past, I've overslept and missed important meetings.
Okay. When discussing your weaknesses, avoid personality or character flaws. Instead, focus on areas that could be improved upon over time.
If someone isn't working hard enough, sometimes I end up picking up the slack. I'm working on just sticking to my own order of business.
So, are you married?
I'm single.
It's actually illegal for interviewers to ask you certain personal questions, such as your age or marital status, so you don't need to volunteer that information.
If you like, you can answer like this.
Let me ask you, are you planning to have a baby in the next few years?
I'd rather keep the focus on the job, not my personal life.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thanks for coming in today.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Do you have a copy of your resume?
Here you go.
Thank you.
You have a business card?
Yes.
Thank you.
So tell me about your last job.
Well, it was really interesting because it had a lot of different elements to it. And I had a lot of responsibility in the position. For example, oh, excuse me. Oh, hey, how are you? Do you mind? Is that all right? Yeah, not too much. Okay. See you then. Bye. So as I was saying before.
If you forget and it goes off during the interview, apologize immediately and turn it off without checking who's calling or answering it. We hope these interview tips have been helpful. For more career advice.
So I would like to give final tips in this particular showcasing you and the guidelines. The do's and do nots, very simply, which are listed here. All the attendees who are attending this particular webinar today, we have a fantastic second part, which will be delivered by my co-trainer, Ms. Farjana. And basically these points, what I given here is about do's. These are all the positive things. Practice and expect the unexpected questions from your experience and how to create the first impression. That's very important. And similarly, listen carefully with your active listening skills. Responding time, also you have to maintain accuracy versus fluency. Stay calm and confident. And also everything what you treat as a professional. And basically, second thing, inactive approach. The way you sit in the interview itself like bored person, like as if you already drowned. No, it should not be acceptable. And also don't interrupt the assessor or the interviewer when he is speaking. And I cannot say always you will get a right interviewer. Maybe the senior general manager of that company might have been working in that company from 20 years. He has very good experience in the company, but he may not communicate properly the way you expected. That's why majority of the interviews are failed. You will assess the other person when they are assessing you. That's wrong. Because of his loyalty and continuity, that company is continuing him. He may not have such a charming personality like you, or he may not have such a communication level like you, or he may not have educational qualifications like you. But he has such a rich investment of his long continuity with the company. Such professionals, if they are not interviewing you properly, it is your emotional intelligence to understand that situation carefully, handle it, don't lose the focus. Because if you think in a positive way, that senior general manager who is interviewing you as a manager, in that interview, you assess that you are better than him. Don't show as a over smart in the interview. Understand that scenario. Once you have been hired by the same gentleman, slowly you will realize why he is in such position. That's why within 1 hour or 45 minutes of the interview, interviewers can assess and guess about you because their job responsibility to select it. But you cannot judge about the company, how they will handle you, how they treat you. That's why you have to make sure your verbal and non-verbal communications are very important. Maybe you have a habit always to make like this, maybe as a habit. Or maybe people always in the offices, they do like this. Or maybe somebody, when they're talking, they do like this. These are all called your mannerisms. These are called your, I can say, non-verbal communications. But when you go for a professional interview, you observe yourself is very important. And also make sure in the beginning greetings, in the middle courtesy, every second, and also at the end, must and should thank to them with a nice greetings. Thanks for your time. It's really wonderful opportunity. I truly enjoyed the interview. I'm looking forward to hear from you. Yeah. No need to say I'm really expecting a positive result from you, etc., etc. No need to be dramatic. Be as professional. That's why in the entire parts today, whatever I demonstrate as a professional, everything what you speak requires 7 C's of communication model. Completeness. Whatever you speak, that should have subject, verb, object, everything should be clear. Otherwise, other persons cannot understand. And also conciseness is important. You may have 20 years of experience, but how you will explain in 2 minutes? Next is consideration. Consideration is you are expecting this job and they are expecting a right candidate. That consideration is very important. You should also understand their expectations. Concreteness. Whatever the terms or whatever the vocabulary you use related to technical, commercial, financial, business management language should be solid enough. That's why engineers should work, not only technical expertise what you have, you should also work on the business management, language, words, vocabulary, meaning, and practice them in the real industry. Then clarity of your structure, what you are explaining. Courtesy is respect. And also you should have clarity when you are explaining to everyone. These are the areas you should demonstrate. And further, I would like to hand over the session to my co-trainer, Ms. Farjana. Can you please on your hand? And Ms. Farjana, she's a language specialist and also have hands-on experience as a teacher and also trainer with AIMS. And today, I request all of you to attend the session up to end. And one of my team member, Aishwarya, can you please post our Google link in the message? And everyone please type your name in capital letter and your email ID. Of course, we provided the fields in the Google link. Before end of this particular webinar, please fill those details. And the people who fill the form only will receive the CPD certificate. And all the attendees will get this presentation slides. As the AIMS HRC we established in the last year, being some of you are well known to me. AIMS has a vision. Already we developed more than 3,000 professionals across the GCC countries. And basically we are specialized in the how to train for chartered professionals. In this room, if anyone from QS background who are aspired in the professional aspirations in the future to go to the bigger level, please contact us. Currently we are running a new batch. In that, please go through our website. And also our team will share you the information in case if you are interested, you can join our programs. Also AIMS HRC website, we'll already published in the emails. Please log in and register your CVs. And we are getting into operations very soon. And based on the requirements, if we find a right talent in you, definitely we'll place you based on the requirement. Our policy is business to business. We don't charge the candidates. And companies will do business with us. And we work for our companies to place right fit for them. But please continue the session. And also at the end of the session, I'll be here to clarify all your doubts. My team member Aishwarya, she posted the Google form. Please fill those details, and session is handovering to Farjana. Thank you so much, Farjana, for wonderful cooperation. Please go ahead. I'll be here to support you as admin, and we'll discuss at the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Ramesh. Greetings to everyone. Good evening, dear professionals. It's wonderful to have all of you. And thank you, Sir Ramesh, for that amazing first part of our HRE's webinar. Let us continue the same spirit, and I am here to talk about the elements of confidence, some language elements, and some model sample questions and answers for you. So let's get started. Thank you for everyone's participation. And here is the first slide. How can you build your confidence for an interview? So the first thing that comes up when we talk about confidence is that we need clarity. Clarity of thought, actions, clarity in your mind, clarity towards the other person. It encompasses everything. So I have prepared a very small mind map for you to understand the elements of clarity. First of all, we need a proper structure for the information. Number two, we need to provide clarity. When we are sharing information, we provide clarity. Similarly, when we are receiving information, we need to seek clarity. Let's analyze each of them. How can we structure our information? Number one is to have a clear format. By format, I mean to have a small mind map. Okay, so let it be about your introduction, about your previous experience, about your present roles and responsibilities, no matter what it is, but you can have a certain pre-prepared syrup that you can use and present it towards your interviewer. Prepare mind maps for the most common questions. For example, questions like introducing yourself, your past experience, your present roles and responsibilities. So having a clear format is half the game achieved. Number two, use signposts. Well, signposts, when we talk about the English language, we talk about certain words like, firstly, I was performing XYZ roles. Then I moved on to ABC items. Currently, I am working as a senior quantity surveyor. So the words like firstly, secondly, currently, however, moving on forward, or going ahead with this company, these kind of small but impactful words help the HR or your hiring team to understand the journey, that is, journey of your communication, how to navigate while you are giving such huge information about yourself. Lastly, that comes under structuring the information would be avoiding jargons. For example, you can be a technical person, but the HR need not necessarily be from the technical background. They will not understand if you are going to talk about terms like HSC, PPE, HVAC, okay, or single stage tendering, two stage tendering. It is not mandatory that everyone understands your jargon. So do not have any assumptions and correctly state what you are actually trying to tell. Don't say, I completed BCE, then I'm going forward with BCA. Well, you have to clarify BCE and BCA depending on the geographical locations. It can change. So after structuring information, it is the show time. You go and talk your facts, but there you have to provide clarification. First of all, you have to have a clarity on the things that you want to tell. Then only you can provide the clarification. Having things clear with a structured format can automatically boost your confidence. First one is to use analogies and examples. For example, little stories that you have. Okay, don't just state that you are a team player. You are an excellent time management maestro. No. That's not going to work out. Give them situations, stories, incidents from your personal or better professional careers to make them understand how do you demonstrate these qualities. You are an excellent team player, tell them how. Number two, avoid any sort of assumptions. Don't assume that the HR knows anything about you. There are hiring managements or hiring teams that come up without even reading your resume. Okay, I'll be very honest there. Yes, they can come and have absolutely no idea about your resume at times, not everyone, but at times. Maybe they were also busy. So don't have any assumptions. I have listed it already in my resume or in my CV. Why should I say that again? Why should I emphasize about my education? No, if you are a postgraduate, at least in one sentence, tell them that you are a postgraduate. Lastly, summarizing. Summarizing as an element of language and to boost your confidence, I would suggest you to summarize in one sentence whatever pointers you are trying to tell. For example, suppose you are introducing yourself and you talk about your education, your previous role, your current role, your other information or traits that you have, and you also tell them about your future aspirations. But towards the end, you can use the word to summarize or to wrap up. I would like to say that I'm an enthusiastic civil engineer looking forward as a management head or a contracts manager. Give them a small summary of whatever you have stated before because the attention span lasts less than 20%. Lastly, we go forward with seeking clarification. Well, the hiring team can give you many pointers which might not be all very good with you, Sometimes you might not understand. Sometimes there could be problem with precision. Maybe their language, maybe they are native speakers, we are not, or maybe we are native speakers and they are not. That can happen. Cultural, educational, technical differences can happen. But we don't walk out of the interview room without having full clarification regarding all the pointers. So how can you seek clarification? Number one, first, active listening. Listen thoroughly. Don't get distracted. Don't have any silly things in your mind. Maybe your family is going to be there, your future business, everything is going to be there. But for that particular time, try to ignore everything and be attentive in the interview. Next pointer is to ask open-ended questions. Rather than asking yes or no type of questions, ask the interviewers open-ended questions. For example, don't ask, am I selected? Do I have a chance? No, you can ask them, by when can I expect a reply? Or you can even ask them, how did this interview go? If you want to ask any clarification regarding the team that you will be working with or anything related to your role, again, don't ask them, is my senior manager a male or a female? No, don't go and ask such kind of things, but ask what kind of a team will I be working with? So these will be open-ended questions which will help you analyze if this company is suitable for you. Probably you are attending interviews back to back. Probably you have 3 other interviews in line. The HR doesn't have to know that. But once you start asking open-ended questions, there comes the clarity wherein you can make a choice regarding the appropriateness of the company. Lastly, and the final pointer for this slide would be to use clarifying statements. Again, if you don't want to sound very assertive or you think that he's a very senior person, how shall I ask questions to him? Do not worry, we have it sorted. You can use clarifying statements. For example, sir, if I am to understand you correctly, I will get a travel allowance for this role. Am I correct? Sir, can you please tell me if I heard it right? My working hours are going to be 9 to 5. Is it okay? Clarify the sentences which they have told, rephrase it, and then see if you have heard it correctly or not. If heard it correctly, well and good. If not, seek clarification, correct it, get it accurate. While we go forward with the next slide, we can see that, sir, can we go forward to the next slide? Sir Ramesh? Thank you so much. So having said the theory, now I would like to give you some tips to build and enhance the confidence. Okay, so here is real-time things that you can do, which you should actually start practicing. So I have 10 tips for you. Maybe only 3 applies to you, maybe just 5, or maybe all 10 of them, but let's have it. Positive self-talk. Don't underestimate yourself. That's the first thing. Think positively about yourself, even if it's a small achievement where you gained the most adaptable employee. Maybe everyone in your circle got some certificate, but then you have received something like the most adaptable employee. No problem. Wear it with full pride. Have it, own it. Be assured about yourself. I repeat, be assured about yourself. If you are not going to think positively about yourself, then who else is going to think about you positively? So you need to have a positive self-talk 2-3 days before the interview. Say that, yes, I can do it. Give all those neutrons and all the chemical stuff to your brain and make it happen. Believe that it will happen, and it will happen. Number 2, visualize. Try to imagine the interview room. Try to imagine 2 or 3 people sitting in front of you. Try to have a small role play on how you are going to enter the room. Should you shake the hands first? If you come from the UAE, then maybe it can be a female HR. So are you allowed to shake the hands? If they don't offer the hand first, are you going to put a hand on your chest, or how are you going to show the respect? Have a small role play, visualize elements. Try to place yourself in the interview room hours or days before the actual interview. Number 3, take care of your appearance. Have your dress sorted. You think you don't have the right shirt? Please go and buy it. This is your time. You have to do it this time. You don't like your beard? Go shave it. You want to have a haircut? Do it. Ladies, makeup. You want a new lipstick? Come on, grab. You can do everything and anything, but make sure your appearance is appropriate for the interview. Fourthly, you can practice your posture. Again, similar points to as what we have previously mentioned, be it an online or an offline interview, you can practice your posture beforehand. Have your laptop switched on, switch the Zoom on or any other camera application. See how is the lighting, how is my background? Am I able to see people? Am I looking at the camera device? Am I looking down? Am I reading through my papers? How should I do it? If it's an offline interview, a face-to-face interview, again, how am I going to walk in? How am I going to shake my hands? Do I have a slouch? How should I sit in the chair? Practice your posture. Number 5, this is real time, what you have to do in the interview room, but you need practice in your day-to-day life to maintain eye contact and convey warmth. Just like how Ramesh sir said, be enthusiastic. Like what you are doing, otherwise don't do it. So like what you are doing, show them through your gestures that you are actually interested here. Have a firm eye contact, have a firm handshake, and then start with your interview. Throughout the interview, try to have that eye contact. Don't get distracted with the fancy stationery and the notice boards that could be there in your HR manager's room. Maybe they have showcased their company's strengths or some kind of vision, mission, and goals. No, it's not the time to read all those things. It is the time for you to interact with your HR manager. Number 6, slow down speech. Well, I will not be the correct person to tell you slow down speech because I speak at a little faster pace. That's like one of my weaknesses. But then I try to slow down when I am emphasizing a correct point or an important point. If you are a person who gets a bit nervous and you tend to talk a bit faster, do not worry because you cannot change your way of talking in 2 or 3 days. But ensure that when you are giving a solid point about your achievement, about your accomplishments, you slow down a little bit. Number 7, speak clearly and audibly. That would also be synonym with be as loud as your room. If it's a face-to-face interview with one person, then it's okay. You can maintain your normal tone. But in case if it's an interview panel with 3 or 4 people, then you have to be audible enough to all of them. Not just one, to all of them, maintain eye contact with all of them. Similarly, if you have a group discussion before your actual main interview, so some companies have a group discussion as a pre-step for the interview. Again, you are there with a crowd, maybe 5 or 10 people. Over there, make sure you are loud enough. There, you have to raise your voice, but in a polite way, and speak up so that the HR team, in case if someone is monitoring you, they hear you right on. They have to hear you. There is no compromise. You need to make your point up. Going forward with some more confidence tips is that you have to familiarize yourself with the audience. Now, it's not easy that you can come to know about the HR team or the panel, but you have internet, the power of internet. Google Sister is there. There are many other sisters and brothers in the internet that will help you. Okay, some networking tools. I'm not going to name every website, but there are enough platforms for you to do proper research. If you even get their first name and their company name, try to put it in somewhere. See if you can identify the person. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 people have been shortlisted. It can be either this, this, or this. What happens is that once you see the person in a picture, it becomes slightly less scary. Okay, you become slightly less nervous once you have seen them already. So try to familiarize yourself with the audience or even with your company. You should familiarize yourself with the company as well. The vision statements, go through their website, their recent projects. What are they trying to work on? Do they give emphasis to sustainability goals? How is their regular functioning? Just go ahead, familiarize yourself. That gives less heart attacks, minor heart attacks. And the next second last pointer would be to rehearse and prepare. There is no compromise on rehearsal and preparation. Be it technical questions, be it some regular introductory questions, or some even situational questions that you might have, you have to rehearse for some. Well, I don't carry a script while I'm talking to you, but I have made effort to go through the pointers, right? Otherwise, I might be mumbling quite a bit. Okay, more than this probably. So do your rehearsal, do your preparation, your mind maps, your little notes where you can write and keep. If they ask me about my current roles and responsibilities, do I have to tell all the 20? Or am I going to list my top 5? If they ask me about my previous experience, am I going to start right from 2010 and tell them about my 20 years? Or can I summarize it? How to do it? Again, rehearse and prepare. Also, 2 things which come under rehearsal and preparation is 1, as we said early, any camera application that you can switch on and practice yourself. Number 2, the slideshow feature, that is MS Office, wherein you make your PowerPoints. The slideshow also has a built-in feature to rehearse with a coach. It will actually tell you, it gives a real-time feedback on if you are going too fast, too slow, any vocabulary that is being repeated. So make use of those tools and get yourself prepared. Lastly, show, don't tell. By that particular sentence, I mean that you have to demonstrate your learning, your achievements. As I said earlier, team management, time management, excellent communicator. How? How are you a communicator? I can go ahead and tell that I'm a corporate trainer, I'm a corporate trainer, I'm a corporate trainer. Who cares? No one cares. But if I'm going to tell you that I have trained more than XYZ number of people, then there is credibility. Then there is some story over there and people ask you, oh my God, 300 to 500 people. How did you do that? Yes, I did that over 5 to 6 batches. You have worked in multi-billion projects. Which project? Or highlight the money value or the client name if you can share. Anything that gives a story which will make your item, your element, your story more believable. Okay. So over there from the next slide. Okay, sir, can we go forward to the next? Thank you so much. So from the tips to build the confidence, here are the language elements. So when you have the language trainer from AIMS, you need to have some language elements which are related to confidence. Of course, English opens doors for us. We cannot ignore that. We have to understand English is the lingua franca. It is important. But how important or how much important? Well, no one knows 100% of any language. It is okay to make mistakes. So don't have the assumption in your mind that since I don't know English very well, I will not be able to attempt this interview. No, there is nothing of that sort. You can attempt the interview no matter which scale or which level of language proficiency you are in, because no one is perfect in the language. Number two, truth about your accent. Now, when we look at the topic of accent, we also have something called accent reduction. Okay, so people actually go for courses and do this process where they reduce the mother tongue interference, okay, or the mother tongue influence in the English language. We are, most of us at least, the 85 participants that I have today, most of us are not the native speakers of the English language. And what happens is that when we talk English, we talk the language with the mouth movement of our mother tongue. So if your mother tongue is Hindi, you talk English with the mouth movements which are required for Hindi. You don't necessarily have imbibed the mouth movements for the English language. Again, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing that you should be worried about. What I'm trying to tell you is some words in sentences and vocabulary which are absolutely crucial for your career, which is absolutely crucial in your professional environment, have that rectified. Again, Google sister, put the word, hear the audio, try to practice it. There is nothing in the world that you cannot do without practice. So practice it. You cannot change your language, you cannot change your accent, but practice will take you at least 2% forward. Next one is appropriate stress. So while you are talking many pointers at the same time, as you see, I have started talking for about 20 minutes now, but when you are sharing an important pointer, a very good achievement, make a stress. Pause, pay more stress, pay emphasis, and highlight that pointer. I would also like to highlight that I have achieved XYZ certificate. That can be one way to do that. Fourth pointer, to be reasonable with your pauses and fillers. So I have actually written one sentence for all of you. Okay, I'm going to read that now. I completed my post-graduation from UK. Currently, I am a quantity surveyor. I wish to be promoted as a commercial manager. I have over 12 years of experience. Sometimes the introductions and the answers that you prepare can go wrong because you have automated it. You have by-hearted them with the natural charisma of your language, with the natural way of your presentation that is lost. Don't be very cautious about your pauses and fillers. It is human to have certain ums and ahs, but not too many. And how much is too many? You have to record yourself and hear it. If you are doing it more than 5, then let's bring it down to 5. 5 in a 2-minute speech is reasonable. Okay? 5 ums and ahs in a 2-minute speech is reasonable. If you have more than that, then we will have to fix it. But don't be too worried about it. As I said, it will make you sound like a robot, like Alexa, because we are not Alexas, we are humans. Next pointer is to change it if you can't make it. Now, this applies to the language as well as the technical aspects. So, suppose you have written down your script, you have written your introduction, and you have certain word or a vocabulary which you are not comfortable pronouncing. Just change it. Okay, so if you're not able to make up to that word, just change it or remove it. You don't have to forcefully tell anything because over there is a catch. Then your language that you speak and the script that you have by-hearted, everything comes in topsy-turvy and it all goes for a toss. Similarly, for technical aspects, maybe we are talking about something like BIM modeling or anything technical, anything that is jargon specific. If you cannot by heart the definition or what it is, for example, let me try to think of an construction industry example because that's where we have the most participants. So if the hiring team asks you, what do you mean by value engineering? You don't have to give that answer right from your engineering degree books. It doesn't have to be a clear-cut definition. You can tell it in your own version. What happens is that, again, when you're going to by heart it, the essence is lost. And in case that is a break, in case you break and you stop, then you will search frantically for other pointers because you have by hearted it. Maybe you have not understood it. So whenever there is a technical item that you think you can be questioned regarding, tell it and practice it in your own words. Don't have the script written with 2-3 lines taken from a dictionary or from your engineering guides, which is difficult for you to memorize or recall. Next comes my favorite, accuracy versus fluency, a big debate among the English language enthusiasts. Should you be accurate or should you be fluent? Let us keep the language enthusiasts aside, but for the interview sake of you, I would suggest you, I would recommend you humbly to be fluent instead of accurate. If you don't know, if you don't know how to use your prepositions, for example, I live in Al-Nada, I live at Al-Nada. Both are correct. I live in Dubai or I live at Dubai. Maybe both are correct, maybe not. I can give you the grammatical rules, but your interview is not the room for checking your grammatical accuracy. By the term accuracy, we mean where you are using your sentences perfect to the rules of the language. But for the interview, we have to communicate our ideas, our experience, our roles and responsibilities. So let us take it in a minimum level. Don't focus on excessive grammatical rules and lose out on your opportunities and pointers. So be fluent rather than being accurate, only for the interview point of view, okay? Only for the interview point of view, and if you are slightly unsure of the English language grammatical rules or construction of sentences. Next one, be as loud as the crowd. I have explained it before in our previous slide. Interview panel, 3-5 people. Make sure everyone hears you. Small room, 1 HR, maybe another person is working next to that room. Have it a bit slow, lower down your volume. You can take it slow. Big group discussion, you have to shout, you have to get your points. Make sure you do it. Of course, be polite. Next pointer is a repetition again, obsessing on grammar, which you absolutely don't have to do. Do not obsess on your grammar. $10 words. These are my favorites, and one of my favorite writers is Shashi Tharoor, so I always quote him. Words like flabbergasted, preposterous, and quixotic. These are hi-fi words in the English language, or for the advanced learners of English language, which we call as $10 words. What happens again is that when you by heart these kind of words, you tend to put them in inappropriate situations. It might not be correct, it might be correct. Maybe the interviewer doesn't know the meaning. So don't try to be fancy. It's not the place to show your language proficiency in case you're an advanced learner of language. In case you're an intermediate level, don't try to by heart or learn the things which are not your cup of tea, which you cannot digest and represent. Okay, so stay away from all the $10 words. Have only the things which you are very sure about. Next, fast is equal to fluent. But I would like to break the myth. Fast is not is equal to fluent. Someone being fast with their language does not entirely mean that they are fluent in their English language or any language. As I said before, I repeat, I reiterate, pay attention on communicating your ideas effectively. You can be fluent. You don't necessarily have to be fast to tell your pointers. It is okay to talk slow. It is okay to think and then talk. Not more than 2-3 minutes. Okay, so there is an appropriate time that you require for recollection and then speaking, but give it time. Don't take it too quickly. Finally, exhibit enthusiasm, smile, interest, passion, have a love towards what you are doing. Otherwise, the HR is going to be bored, and we don't want anyone to be bored with our presentations, right? So that would be some language elements and confidence tips. And then we move on to our next topic. I think that's the most interesting one. Probably that's what everyone is looking forward to. Can we have the next slide, please? Model interview questions and answers. Okay, I can take up this session for like 2-3 hours, but we are time bound. I need to finish it before you professionals are drained out. I have tried to put in some of the most important model interview questions and answers, okay? These are just samples. We are just trying to suggest you on how to give the answers. They are not clear-cut rules. You can have your own variations. But to help the professionals, I have tried to put in some questions. Somewhere questions and answers are there. And finally, we have the questions towards the interviewers also, what to ask to your interviewers. So usually, in the interview panel, we can have questions which are behavioral. So certain questions which will show the behavioral traits, you know, am I actually a team player? Am I actually a problem solver? Some questions can be situational to gauge your learning. Probably they're going to give you a case study and ask you, how are you going to solve it? So it can be situational. Some things can be purely technical and related to the subject matter, entirely related to your topic, and some can be general questions like introduction, are you comfortable to travel, and those kind of things. So next slide, we have the questions, some sample questions. No answers here. These are just the questions. So some common questions can be, tell me about yourself. What are your experiences and accomplishments? The interviewer can also ask you, what are your strengths and weaknesses? How would you describe your management style? What appeals to you about this job and organization? How did you hear about this position? Tell me 2 things about yourself that are not on your resume. Why do you think you are qualified for this position? Lastly, give an example of a situation where you demonstrated problem solving. So you can practice these questions at home, the research part which I have told you, the practice part which I have told you, get your mind map done and have your answers ready. This is going to be with you lifetime. Next slide, please. We have the answers coming up now. Some interview questions with sample answers. These are not entirely the answers, but I'm going to tell you how you can frame the answers, because if I give the answer, then it will be my answers. I'm not going to do that. First question, why should we hire you? Well, you should hire me because you have a vacant position and I am in desperate need for a job. I need money. That's why you should hire me. But we cannot say that to our hiring management. So you should combine your value as a professional. As a professional, what do you bring to the table? Maybe your 5 strengths. You can also tell them your professional aspirations, you know, just like we started this session. Moving forward, I would like to see myself in this position. So the HR knows that you are a person who might be interested in staying with us and moving forward. These questions should be, again, value-oriented, okay? Don't give random ambiguous statements like, I have done my degree here, I have had my schooling there. No. Only professional elements. You can also use some terms like, I'm a result-driven professional who is doing XYZ. What makes you think that you are result-driven? Or you can say that you are a problem solver, but how, you have to specify. Again, excellent communicator, again, specify how. Next question, tell me about a time where you showed your leadership. Now here you have to think of a situation or a task where you did actually show leadership. And you have to highlight the action that you took and the result which was achieved. It does not have to be big. I know that out of the 85 participants that we have, not everyone has 10, 12 years of experience. Maybe there are freshers, maybe there are people with 3 to 5 years of experience. See, it does not have to be huge. We are not talking about you taking the onus of a huge project, you know, a construction of a high-rise building. No, it can be small. It can be as simple as you observing that your team member was struggling with something and you initiated to go and help them. That shows your leadership skills. Wanting your partner or your colleague to be in the same page as you is an excellent demonstration of leadership skill. So think about situations and tasks. Maybe highlight 2 or 3. You have it ready in your answers, in your mind map. Depending on the situation, reproduce your answer. Next one, what is your greatest weakness? This is a tricky question, and you can be honest here. You don't have to lie. You can be absolutely honest, but honest with a slight coating of little butter. So it is normal to have weakness. As I rightly said, we're all humans. We're not Alexas and ChatGPTs and Google sisters. So it is okay to have weakness, but what to showcase in that particular interview, that's going to be important. Now, I cannot go and say that my weakness is communicating with people because I'm a corporate trainer. I cannot do that. And you cannot say that you don't draw very well if you are an architect or a designer, right? So depending on your job role, your position, your industry, just tweak your answer a little bit. And this is not an actual interview question. This is more like a behavioral question where they are trying to understand more about you. Now, two ways to give answers to that. One, you can tell them about a trait which is not going to affect your job role. For example, if you are a quantity surveyor or a technical person or a person who just has to be in front of the computer, you can tell them that I am not a public speaker. I'm not confident to talk in front of a large crowd. Specify large crowd, otherwise, they will take it wrong. So something that does not affect your job role, that can be given as your weakness. You can say that my family thinks that I'm not a person who says no to everything. So, they know that, okay, you are a person who can be approachable. You can also use that question to make it a slightly strategic point of view where you are giving the hint towards your skills. For example, you can say that I am a detail-oriented person, so I have to go back and check on everything multiple times. But that's an advantage to the company. You say it as a negative, as a weakness, but that is advantageous to the company. Also, you can say that, you are detail-oriented, or you struggle with time management, you give more focus on your office. Again, that is what the HR team wants. That's what the officers want. So over there, we can play slightly strategic. Some more interview questions with its sample answers would be, why did you leave your job, or you are leaving your present job, depending on your category. If you have a job, if you were fired, or if you were laid off, depending on your category, you can give the answers. Probably that you are looking for better opportunities, or you parted your ways. Maybe the organization was looking for revamping. They revamp their organizational roles, etc. Then comes, what is your salary expectation? That's a favorite question and we struggle with it. Try not to quote any amount, okay? Unless they are forcing you, try not to quote any amount. You can say negotiable, but you also have to have a research on the recent salary packages, the updated salary packages, depending on your geographical situation. But you can tell them that, oh, it is negotiable, but I believe that this company will give me the industry best. Specify that pointer, industry best, because then this company should be the industry best. Next one, please remember that the salary expectation does not actually have to be monetary. If you are working overseas, it can be in terms of your leave, your annual leave, your air ticket, etc., etc. So remember that negotiation can happen by going beyond the financial point of view, going beyond the money. Finally, what are your goals for the future? Over here, you have to be very accurate. Please prepare yourself well. Explain that you want to excel in A, B, C areas. Highlight the areas. You want to excel in tendering, procurement, and contracts management. And also state that it is best if you will be known for your skills. You can also add that in the company or in my current job role, I am looking forward for more responsibilities. Again, you are giving a hint that you are planning to stay with the company for long-term benefit. To add on, you can also say one positive result that you can make when you come to that position. For example, about team working, you can say that in future, I also want to ensure that no matter which team I'm working with, I want them to be collaborative and effective. You don't want them to have silly fights and mistakes. So that would be some interview questions with sample answers. I hope I have helped most of you, but here are some inappropriate questions. Sometimes because of the geographical, cultural, traditional backgrounds, we face these kind of questions. If someone asks you about your religious practices, you can tell them that my religious practices have no impact on my quality of work. You can by heart these answers, don't worry. These answers are there for you. If you are okay with sharing, you can say that, I'm a Muslim or I'm a Christian, but my religious practices will have no impact on my quality of work. Do you have plan to have children? Well, none of their business. They don't have to know. It is not in our hands, but you can say, I'm focused on my career and you can be sure of my commitment to this job. So, no matter children, no matter parents, whatever, my commitment towards this job position is going to be there. How do you feel about working for a woman? This question is again tricky because in some parts where you have female CEOs, they want to test your, your acceptance for female team leaders or, seniors who are not of your gender, any opposite gender. Over here, we will not make any comment about any genders. We don't want to know if it's a man or a woman that is going to be our super senior. You can just say that I have always successfully worked as part of a diverse team. Diverse team is my favorite. Finally, if by any chance you have listed about any health issues, or maybe you are a person who took a break owing to your health concerns, and maybe the HR is sometimes asking you, are you able to handle this? Or they ask you, how's your health now? Are you okay? You can see it's fair on their part to ask it. So please acknowledge it. Don't be angry that they are asking it. But it's correct on their part because they are there for the employer, for the company. But you can say that I am fully capable of performing all the job functions as listed in the job posting. Simple as that. One-line answers, it will never take you wrong. Finally, how to handle the interviewer. It is always advisable to leave the interview room with 1 or 2 questions. Okay, so in the next slide, we have some questions for the interviewer. You can ask these questions, which are there on your slide. When can I expect to hear from you? Or you can ask, what skills does a candidate need to perform well in this role? Again, interview questions to the interviewer can be your trump card to understanding if the company suits you. So can you describe some important projects that you are working on? What would my day-to-day routine look like if I get this job? Can you tell me about the team I would be working with? Is there a training program or resources to help me develop new skills? And you can also ask, is there a training manual or written guidelines for best practices for this role? I don't mean that you have to ask all these questions. No, they are just randomly taken questions for your reference. Highlight any 1 or 2 question which is suitable to your job role and what you would like to clarify. That brings us towards the end. And finally, I have a surprise. Here is a bonus tip for everyone. This is what we call as the STAR interview method. And I believe Ramesh's favorite is this one. Whenever you are given a situation-based question, whenever they want you to demonstrate something, don't be panicky. Prepare yourself. Describe the situation first. I handled a situation where we had a tight timeline or a hard timeline. Describe the task. We had to prepare XYZ building or a high-rise building. You have to highlight the task. Then tell what were the actions taken. Okay, what were the actions taken? Probably every team member was assigned roles and responsibilities according to their strengths. We had meetings every day to wrap up whatever was done. The result was that we were able to achieve the timeliness, or we were able to deliver the project on time and with excellent quality. So you give the situation, you give the task, you say the actions that you actually took, and then you tell them the results. So this STAR interview method can be your go-to. It can change your game. Always use this technique whenever they give you situational or any technical task-based questions. So I think I can stop with that, Sir Ramesh. What do you think? We can take up questions now.
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much for all of the attendees today. And can you, Aishwarya, post once again the link of this particular registration, sorry, the CPD certificates link in the chat box. And please, everybody, type this Google form to get your CPD certificate and also your presentation slides.